Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. It's myself Alan with another Cubase tutorial. If this is your first time coming to the channel, very warm welcome to you and hope you enjoy what you see. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to subscribe and you'll be notified every time a new video comes up. What we're going to look at today is how to render virtual drums into audio parts, and this is something that I do all the time. In Cubase, when you take the Cubase samples, they're in MIDI. But you want to separate all the drums into their own channel and have them in an audio wave file. So it's easier for you to do processing. You can fade in, fade out. You can use plugins on them. You can reverse them. It just opens up a whole new world. Exactly the same as would be if you were using and recording a real drummer. Another thing that we're going to do today in Cubase, which I'll do at the end of the video, is I'm going to show you how to tune your drum tracks. So if you're recording a track and the track is in, say, the key of C and your drum parts are in a G or an E, you can move them all very easily to a C. So your drum parts will be completely in tune with your track. And this is what professionals do, and it makes it sound a lot better. So stick to the end of the video and I'll show you how to do that. In Cubase, if we open up here, I just have a drum kit here. Um, as you can see, I have a kick, a snare, hi-hats, cymbals, and also if I go on to the next page, I don't think I have anything else. No, so just to forward them on this page. In Cubase, this is the drum part we have. And if I show you here on the drums, you can see here's all our MIDI drum parts, but all these parts are all coming out in stereo onto one channel. But what we want to do is, instead of having this all in one channel, we want to be able to have our kick, our snare, like this, everything coming out on their own channel. By the way, if you want to add effects into onto your drum parts, you can click in here and you can add effects onto whatever you want to onto this, and you can also use sends and higher and lower the amount that you use. In Cubase over here, this is our VSTI on our rack, and I'll show you if I click here and activate outputs, you can see that this is only going into one master output. But in Cubase, as you can see down here, we have up to 32 channels. So we can separate the drums into 32 different channels. We can have the kick on one, we can have the snare on another. So instead of everything coming out in just one channel, we really take full control of the drum kit, and we can then bounce it into audio file, like a wave file, so you can see it and you get a more of an understanding of what the drum part is going to look like. There's a couple of ways to do this. By the way, this outputs channels. If I go over here to Groove Agent and click on this, you'll also see I can click on here and I can activate the channels here myself. But on this window here, what I'll do is where it says Kit Mix, if I click on that, I change this to output 2. So the kick is on output 2. The snare I will put onto output 3. And the hi-hats I will put onto output 4. And the cymbals, I'll change this to output 5. And if you have more than 4 drum parts or drum instruments, you'll find them on the next page. So there can be up to 16 different instruments. But on this here, yeah, I only have 4. You can change the volume and stuff here on this one. Now if I go over to this rack again, I click on this rack, activate outputs, you will see now that I have my master. I also have my kick, my snare, my hi-hats and my cymbals. Now if I look down here at the mix console, if I just open it up, You can see now that I have my kick, my snare, my hi-hat and my cymbals, and they're all on separate channels. If I play it, don't forget you can make these larger or smaller by pressing the G and the H. But what I want to do is take it a step further, and if I click on here, you can see I now have the lanes where the kick, the snare, the hi-hat and the cymbals, but I want to take that further. So what I want to do is, instead of having lanes with volumes, I want to have the actual audio. To take it to the next step, what I want to do is to just highlight here. If I go up to edit, click on it and go down to render in place, and then I'm going to go across to render settings. In the render settings, I have this set to as one event. I'm going to leave this dry, so it'll transfer with the same settings I have. And this is the tail size, which is like a buffer. And the buffer is basically at the end of the audio file, it leaves a 5 second gap. You can make it up to 6, 7, 8 seconds if you want. If you have a reverb on it, you can make it slightly longer. And this will allow for the tail on the end of the audio event, so it doesn't just get cut off halfway through. And I just press render, and there you go. Now you can see there's all my MIDI parts. And now I can go in, if I click on here, and I can actually delete these ones here because I don't need them anymore. So as I just use these ones here. So I have everything on its own separate track and ready to use. There's no symbols on it, so I can get rid of that as well. So now I have all my MIDI parts all transferred into audio parts. I just cleaned them up and deleted the ones I didn't want. I didn't have anything on the cymbal, so I got rid of that. And I got rid of the lanes I had before, and I just color coded them. So I have them all here. And if I press play, now I also have them faded in and faded out, and I have some processing and some EQ and stuff done on it. But I've got full control over all the drums. But there's more things I can do in Cubase as well. Here I have another drum part from Cubase. And I want to do the same thing. I want to separate this into its own audio files and its own channel. If I click on it, you can see this one is an acoustic agent kit, and I've just highlighted the ones that I have used. On this one, it's the strip on the acoustic agent. The strip is already done for you. The kick, the snare, the hi-hats, the toms, the cymbals, and the percussions. But you also get extra on this. You get overheads, which is the microphone over the drum kit, and you also get a microphone that's recording the room. And all you see down the end has compressors, tape saturation, and these are already put on it. So all the effects are already done. I just have highlighted the ones that I have used and dragged into my sample. By the way, if you want to know how to use this, if you click on it and press set color, and you can change it to whatever color you want. What we can do with this one is we can click in here. If we right click on it where it says acoustic drums and go down to export mixer and FX channel to Cubase. This means that it'll transfer everything into its own lanes, as we see here: the kick, the snare, the percussions, the overheads, and it'll keep all these effects as well. So I'll click on that. Now if we look down here, you can see that we have everything in its own lanes, and we also get the overheads and the room. And if I go in here to the mixer and click in, you can see that all the effects have all come over as well. And also if I click on like the snare, you can see that the channel strip has come over as well. So we have this on every channel, same on the room, and it has all the effects. But now we want to render this, and we want to render into an audio file for each lane. So we do the same thing. We click on here, we go up to edit, we go down to render in place, and we do render with current settings. And now you can see we have everything in its own lanes. If I can slide over here, and here's all the mixers for it. Now, some of the lanes don't have anything on it, like the toms, so I can delete them, and I can delete these ones here that I don't need anymore, and I'm just going to color them up and tidy them up. Now, after I've tidied up all the lanes and got rid of the lanes that didn't have any audio on them, this is what I'm left with: my kick, my snare, my hat, my cymbals. I also have the overheads, and I have the room, and I have everything here on its own channel. If I just press play, okay, what we want to do now is I have a sample here, and this sample I have just taken in. I just brought it over from here, so I can close this down. If I just play the sample for you, I'll just take these off. It's just a shaker. But what I want to do is I want to find out which key this is in, and I want to find out what key my drum pattern is in, and I want to change this into the same key as this, which is also going to be in the same key as my song. So first of all, I'm going to have a look at the kick, and I'll find out. It's very easy. If I go to the highest point, you'll see up in the corner, it's in D1. So I know the kick is in a D, and I've already checked, and the rest of these are all in a D as well, because they came from the same patch in Cubase. So now what I want to do is I want to find out what my key, my sample is in. I'll just do the same thing here, press play. And I can see it's in F sharp 5. So what I need to do is to bring the sample down into a D. And the easiest way to do that, if I open up this MIDI part here, just click on it, just to show you. Our song is in D, and the sample track is in F sharp. So we have to count and go backwards. So we're going back half a semitone all the time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will bring us back. So we bring it back 4. And the way we do this is if we click onto it and we go up to transpose, and now we just click on this and we just do -4, and this will bring us back in our sample into a D. So now everything should be in the same key. We play them. And that's how you tune the drums. Now we have our sample is in D and all our drum parts are in D, and the piece of music I have up here is in D as well. I'm just going to extend this. I'm just going to glue them together. And now we just have a listen to that. So that's how you tune the drums. So that's about it, folks. But don't forget to click like and subscribe, and drop back in again for another Cubase tutorial from myself, Alan. It's nice to talk to you, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.